The voice of Wilson Contreras, the All-Star, the Home Run Derby contest participant who was putting on a show last night in Philadelphia. He says the Red Sox not lacking confidence and that they are on their way in the second half. We're going to examine what those trends have looked like in recent seasons because we know it is a yearly tradition, unlike any other, for the Red Sox to go streaking into the All-Star break on a heater, as they are this year, winners of 9 straight. As we welcome you into the Drive at 5. Drive at 5 brought to you by Madden Generator Services. With expert installation, dependable maintenance, and a free 7-year warranty on new Generac installs, they'll keep your home in the game. Call 951-4668. Madden Generator Services, power you can count on. Also brought to you by Casella. Good pay, good people, good life. Find your place at thepowerofhardwork.com. And by Dairy Queen in Old Town, where you can try the new $7 DQ chicken strip meal deal. It's got it all. 100% white meat, seasoned chicken strips, full-size fries, a drink, and a DQ sundae, all for just $7. Find it at 613 Stillwater Avenue in Old Town. Well, Ernie, for the last couple of days, yesterday, Aaron and I, we were harping on the positivity around the Boston Red Sox and the 9-game win streak going in, 14 out of 16. You can even extend it beyond that. I think they're 17-5 in their last 22, so this is a 3 to 4 week sample size here. It's not just 3 series, if you want to take the cynical approach to it. The other side of that coin is they're still 2 games under 500. They're still not quite in a playoff position. They're still third in their division. And the second half starts haven't been quite as positive for the Red Sox as the first half finishes have been over the last 3 to 4 years. So obviously, we don't know how they're coming out of the break yet in 26. That remains to be seen, but it's a tough test coming up on Friday when the Rays, who lead the division, are in town not only for 4 games, but it's 4 games in 3 days and a doubleheader coming at you on Friday. So a good test to start off this unofficial second half. And looking back at the trends here, 2023, they go into the break 8-1. They come out of the break 3-4 in their first 7. 9-11, though, through their first 20 games, which continues through the first week of August.
Well, I mean, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if they came out 9-11. I mean, essentially a 500 team.
You'd be 4 games under 500, but probably no more than like 2.5 games out of the wild card chase at that point.
You'll be in the mix. Plus, you've got a lot of guys here, and I don't even know half of them, but you've got a lot of guys here that are going to be motivated to play as hard as they can.
Yep.
The guys that have gotten the Red Sox to this point, we probably didn't hear of half of them before the season started. Who was Jake Bennett?
Oh, exactly.
And then you think about guys like these middle infielders that they've used.
The Sieglers that they're churning out. Chang is playing good defense and getting on base at the bottom of the lineup.
Are you a buyer or seller at this point? I have a specific question I want to ask you about this.
I mean, I would still sell because unless there's a bat out there that changes the chemistry for this team, but the pool to pick from is so shallow in the American League or in baseball because everybody's in it.
Here's a question, because first thing to think of when you think of selling is getting rid of the older guys.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's your best players, Contreras, Sonny Gray, and Chapman.
Yep.
Would you trade Marcelo Meyer?
Well,
I mean, does he still have any value, do you think, as a prospect to other teams?
That's one where I saw, again, it's just like Blog City throw out speculation.
People making up stuff like we do.
People making up stuff. And it was kind of like Roman Anthony plus Marcelo Meyer plus XYZ top prospects for Bobby Witt Jr. Do you say no to that at this point? And it's kind of like, well, if you're giving me someone who I feel pretty secure is like a top 10 player in the game in return, yeah, of course I'm going to make the trade.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. See, but Meyer and Anthony are 2 completely different people to me because
one has shown it.
One has shown it last year, albeit for 75 games, but Roman Anthony showed the potential of it so much so that everybody was pegging him as a outside candidate for MVP this year, for crying out loud, which is kind of ridiculous. But
because, again, it wasn't like he just came up and hit 350 with 25 homers over that span, but it was his impact throughout the rest of the lineup and what it did for the team. They were the best team in baseball while he was there.
Yeah, he was their best player, really, in a lot of respects. And and did pretty well at the World Baseball Classic, although who knows, it sounds like a lot of guys that played in that have had their struggles at one point or another
A little bit.
this year. Think about Meyer. He still has the resume that says he was a number 4 draft pick in the entire draft. Now, I think he loses value every year. You keep him out. And he hasn't signed the long-term contract.
No, he hasn't.
That Anthony and Bayo and Campbell and am I missing anybody in terms of that group? I don't think so. But there's 3 or 4 guys that they've invested long-term, and they haven't done that with Meyer yet. And part of the reason is because the last 3 seasons have ended, last 3 seasons in the minor leagues ended in injuries and being sidelined, and who knows about this year and what's going to happen. He's sidelined right now. So, and they have a prospect, a shortstop prospect. Is it Franklin Arias?
Yep.
Who's one of the
Down
best.
in AA, who's just hitting the cover off the baseball
so they've
right
got
now.
a replacement for him, and you wonder. I mean, rather than the old guys, whether or not you can get something, and I don't know what you would want to get, maybe a right-handed bat of some sort, and use Meyer as kind of the key element of what you're willing to trade, as he still has prospect potential, but if you've been watching him with the Sea Dogs in Worcester and in the minor leagues and now with the Red Sox, you kind of have seen the other side of it too, that fact that he can't stay on the field, and can you sucker somebody into giving you a bat for him? And I don't know. I mean, I would like to, right? I believe in winning today.
Yeah.
And so I want to.
How do you improve this team?
I want to keep Sonny Gray,
and Wilson
Contreras and Chapman, because, I mean, say what you want about Craig Breslow. He got those guys right.
Yep.
And they're a big reason they're even 46 and 48.
So let me play a soundbite here from Tony Maserati that I feel like you might agree with based on what you were just saying there about Marcelo Meyer. And it's something that's come up in recent days around this team, even comments that Wilson Contreras, we're actually going to hear it going into a later segment in this show. I've got it saved for when we're talking like Red Sox trade deadline coming up later in this hour. But he was making some comments about the current makeup of the team and the guys doing it right now who are making this 9-game win streak possible. Kind of the scrappy 4A'ers who are fighting for their lives, maybe more so than some of the kids who were already part of the faces of the franchise. Take a listen. Is that a little more animated version of what you were just saying right there?
Yeah, a lot more animated. There's a couple words that even I wouldn't use on the air, I don't think. But the point is valid, I think. I mean, you've got a guy, he's got some trade value, I think, still, because he's still young enough. By the way, the 2 weeks in the minor leagues, these guys are like, how old is Roman Anthony? 21?
22, yeah, 21.
He can spend 2 weeks in Worcester. Just to get his act back together.
If he comes back this year, he'll need it. He'll need some sort of rehab assignment.
Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, again, wanting to win now and where they're at and knowing and believing that they're going to have enough pitching to keep themselves competitive. I don't think they're going to go like 4-15 with this pitching staff that they've got. I mean, I don't know about Crochet and whether or not he's ever coming back, but
I haven't needed him at this point.
They haven't.
As crazy as that is to say,
but you would think the longer it goes on, you're probably going to need him if you want to continue to move up in the standings. But they've got enough pitching so that will keep them in games. It's just it's a matter of playing the defense, which they've done a decent job of, and scoring more than 2 or 3 runs a game, getting 4 or 5, and they've done that better as of late as well. At least getting 3. So I think they're going to be competitive, and I don't know what their record will be coming out of the break relative to other years. It doesn't start easy with Tampa Bay. That's 4 tough games in a row, and they're also at Fenway where they
17-27.
I don't know what kind of mojo is going on around there, and their ability to not win at Fenway. Typically they are built to win at Fenway.
Yeah.
That's
a weird setup there.
Their success is based on winning everywhere but Fenway. Who knows if that'll change it? Maybe they can set a tone if they can come out and do a good job against Tampa Bay. Say, take 3 or 4 of 4. But there will be some pressure on them to do something like that, to win at home, because they haven't been doing it. And it's supposedly an advantage to them, and it has been over the years. We'll know by Sunday night what their reaction is or response is coming out of the break, and whether or not they can kind of change that negativity that's been the case for them playing in front of the Green Monster.
Yeah, so 4 against Tampa Bay coming directly out of the break. Then you have 3 at home against Baltimore, 3 at home against Toronto. So a 10-game homestand at Fenway directly out of the break. Then you head out west, the first 4 of which are against the A's. A good lineup, but Oakland struggling mightily over the last month, losing just about every time they take the field recently. So beyond Tampa Bay, 2 teams behind you in the division and a team struggling behind you in the wild card race. It's a chance to not make up some ground, continue the momentum that you're going in with. Again, how good do they have to be? What does that number have to be? Because in 23, 8-1 going in, 9-11 in their first 20 coming out. In 24, they were 10-3 going into the All-Star break. They lost the first 4 in a row coming out, lost 7 of 9 overall. And then last year, 12-1 going in, 10 straight wins. They come out, lost 4 of 5, lost 5 of 7. You can't do either of those 3 things here.
Well, the other thing about the upcoming games, you take that homestand, and it's all American League East opponents, and they're not that far ahead.
No, it's a
of
game,
either Baltimore
game and a half.
or Toronto.
Yeah.
So you're also looking to put some distance between yourself and 2 teams that you essentially are competing against.
Yep.
For a playoff spot. And the other teams, Baltimore and then Toronto, they're going to be looking at these series the same way, except they're having to do it on the road. So, very important in terms of at least maintaining the momentum they have built up and the fact that they've put themselves in position to challenge for a playoff spot, but also trying to hurt the other teams, Baltimore and Toronto, and their bids to get into that 3-way battle for, or at least get into one of those 3 wildcard spots.
Pardon the pun, but you got to come out swinging.
Yeah,
like
you
Tampa
do.
Bay, you can split the 4 games, and I'll accept that perfectly A-OK because they're the best team in the American League. They're at the top of the division. But then take 2 out of 3 against Toronto and Baltimore on the other side. If you go 6-4 against in those 10 games, you get back to 500 right out of the break. I think that sets you up well for everything that comes after that, the run to the trade deadline and hopefully to the playoffs beyond it.
Yeah, that would be, at a minimum, that would be an effort that would be reflecting, continued progress, even though it's not 9 in a row.
Sure.
But if you
keep winning the series.
4 and 6 though, you're still going to be in contention because as we've seen the last few years, the way it is now with 6 playoff teams, you're always going to be in contention unless you're one of the worst teams in the world, like the White Sox were a couple of years ago.
500 versus 4 games under, though. That just mentally, optically, it's got a big feel to it.
And again, if you start finding yourself behind 2 or 3 or 4 teams for that last playoff spot, then all of a sudden you've got to have another 9-game winning streak to erase that.
Yep.
So
keep building on what you have done so far. If you're the Red Sox, The Drive, brought to you by Fat Panda Boba Tea and Market on Harlow Street in Bangor next to Goslin's Bakery. Sip fresh boba. Explore snacks, ramen, and their tasty Jamaican patties. You can also visit their brewer location on Wilson Street next to Hannaford. And The Drive at 5, brought to you by Hero Sports Grill and Entertainment Center, the official sports grill of The Drive and the place to be in downtown Bangor. And at herosportsgrill.com, coming up in the break, make sure to hit up the Heroes hotline, 992-9029. We have Tuesday trivia coming up in the next segment. We're also brought to you by Uno Pizzeria and Grill. Late night deals every night in the bar or lounge. 725 Stillwater Avenue in Bangor. Order to go at 947-5000 and at unos.com. It is a Major League Baseball All-Star theme Tuesday trivia when we return, 992-9029 to lock in your spot. Back Tuesday trivia here on this Major League Baseball All-Star Game Day. The Drive at 5 brought to you in part by Novus Auto Glass. Give them a call today at 945-6688 to get your windshield repaired or replaced. We are also brought to you by Northeast Driving School, the leader in driver training for 57 years. Register today for driver's ed courses at Greater Bangor's #1 driving school, 942-1769, or register at northeastdrivingschool.com. Dial us up on the Heroes hotline like you heard the big voice guy say right there, 992-9029. Let's see if we still have a contestant on line 1. We got a call during the break, but he was at work, so we don't know if he's still there when we go back to him. Fred, you still with us?
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
And Fred's still with us. He has found a nice corner to hide in at work today and see if he can answer Tuesday trivia. We're asking, Fred, who holds the record for the most Major League Baseball All-Star Game selections? Is it Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Ernie's guy Stan the Man Musial, or Mickey Mantle? Which of those four hold the record for the most MLB All-Star Game selections?
I think I'm going to have to rely on my gut instinct and go with the old Henry Aaron.
Going with old Hammer and Hank?
Yes, sir.
You are correct, Fred,
Very
and it's
good.
kind of a trick question, so bonus points to you because Hank Aaron was selected to 25 All-Star games over the course of 22 seasons. Because from 1959 to 1962, Major League Baseball hosted 2 All-Star games per summer in an effort to raise money for the Players' Pension Fund. It was not that well received. They scrapped it after 4 years, but because of that, Hank Aaron was an All-Star twice a summer for 4 years during that time. Willie Mays and Stan Musial actually played in the game 24 times each, so they hold the record for most All-Star games played, but Hank Aaron holds the record for most All-Star game selections with 25.
Always rely on your gut.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Your gut was doing all that math for you.
So those other guys that played,
Yeah, no, it was not.
those other guys that played 24 in 24, was that in 24 years, or did they also play in 2 games a couple of years?
I believe Willie Mays had to have been overlapped with that time, right? Because his career,
I think so.
he played for so long that he had to get in on the 59 to 62, I would imagine. But Musial, he was gone by that point.
Right.
Ted Williams was gone in 60, so he wasn't around at that point, doubling up. And Mickey Mantle was... Where was Mickey in the... He was there, but oft injured at that time. That was the injured Mantle because, of course, 60 was him and Roger Maris going for the record together, but he was blowing out his knee in the middle of that, and so he wasn't quite taking advantage of it like they were. But there you go, Fred. Able to hang on the line and win yourself some Tuesday trivia. Just hang on with me for about 30 more seconds so I can get your phone number, and then you're free to get back to work.
Thank you.
There we go. Tuesday trivia right there on The Drive. The Drive brought to you in part by Goslin's Bakery. You can start your morning at 334 Harlow Street in Bangor. Grab a breakfast sandwich or an English muffin or croissant, plus legendary donuts and pastries made since 1945. Or visit the new Goslin's Bakery in Delhi, next to Hannaford in Brewer. Coming up next, we got a sports center and weather forecast, and then we try to find some targets if Craig Breslow and the Red Sox fancy themselves buyers at the end of this month. Wilson Contreras liking those Fenway vibes at this point in the year, saying that he wants to stay in town. Don't send him anywhere ahead of the deadline. And I think he and some others in that clubhouse probably making the case to bring in some help ahead of this trade deadline.
I would think so. You always want more. I mean, you'd like to think. I mean, I look at the list here of injured players: Crochet, Suarez, Story,
Early.
Meyer, Anthony, Early. Even Casas you could throw in there, I suppose. But they've got some guys that if they come back and give them a boost,
Yeah.
they can do it that way. But
It sounds silly to say, but even IKF was swinging the bat before he got hurt.
yeah, I mean, there's so many of these guys, though. I mean, again, to use the Tampa Bay model,
Yeah.
where if you get a month out of them, then you're living on borrowed time afterwards. And that's kind of what I think happens with a lot of these guys. You get the best month you can out of them, and as other teams start to familiarize themselves with some of these people, they become a little less successful as they get the second or third series against some of these teams.
And that's what has me skeptical about this team's ceiling when it comes to the postseason and what they can ultimately do this year, because I had more confidence looking at last year's lineup, thinking that when you get into the playoffs, they could get it done. That proved to not be the case. They got into the playoffs, the lineup went silent, they needed some pop that wasn't there, and they got taken care of by the Yankees after Crochet went out there and dominated in Game 1. You look at this year's team, and beyond Wilson Contreras, I know Durbin's come to life lately. I know the recent winning, they have been able to turn over the lineup and play small ball and, bunk guys over, get sack flies, go station to station, take an extra base, steal bases. But that's not sustainable, really, unless you're Tampa and you have proven to kind of make that your entire identity. This team isn't. They talked about being that in the offseason, then we saw them roll into the regular season and still try to swing out of their shoes and be the same people at the plate. So unless you go out and significantly add to this lineup, I really need like 2 additions in it. I don't think that they can go that far in the playoffs.
Yeah, what will they give up to get them? Because, I mean, that's when you say that, that's also keeping Contreras, for instance. So
exactly.
The trade bait is not there. It's in some of the depth they've built up pitching-wise and Marcelo Meyer.
I kind of asked the question yesterday. I don't think there's a team out there that would make it possible that would look at a Sonny Gray and have a bat to change him out with. But you have so much on the pitching side of things. At what point do the scales tip where a bat in your lineup every day is you need that more than Sonny Gray on the mound once every 5 days? Because that bat is out there. It's throughout baseball. It's just the case of I don't think any of those teams want to give that up to bring in Sonny Gray.
Well, and one of the problems is with the way the playoff format is structured and so many teams being in the hunt,
you only have
so
a few.
late in the season, the illusion of contention, right? According to Dan Shaughnessy, I was reading something here during the break, and the teams that were mentioned as potential sellers really were down to like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I mentioned the Rockies, the Angels, the Mets, and the Giants.
Yep.
Can you get Mike Trout?
Well, that's the thing. Like, what price are you having to pay at that point when it comes to... Because the Angels aren't looking at Sonny Gray back for Mike Trout.
No.
So that's what I talk about. We're having to find the right team to match there. I don't think anyone in that group, except for maybe Houston, because we were talking about Jeremy Pena when I had the idea. Houston has no pitching. They have a ton in the hitting department. So is that almost the perfect scenario where you could say... Here's a guy who's 11-1 with a 2.6 ERA. You have a shortstop who we can plug in at the top of the lineup and also have the financials to hand out the contract to that he needs going forward. Let's swap these guys. Best of both worlds.
You throw Meyer in with him for that matter and maybe expand the trade to 2-on-2 because, again, if you get Jeremy Pena, then you've got to pay him, but you've settled your shortstop situation in the short term, and then you got Franklin Arias down in Portland, who is one of the most highly touted top 10 minor leaguers among the entire major league.
Yep.
So you've got the next shortstop as well. So you do have some trade trips that aren't necessarily all old guys.
Yeah.
And again, but why? But if you're trying to make the playoffs, why wouldn't you want to keep a guy who's 10-1,
Exactly.
11-1 or something like that?
Just trying to get creative with it because, like, what I don't want them to do is the name that yesterday I butchered. I was trying to put, like, Miles Shaw and Max Straw and a bunch of baseball players together. It's actually Max Shaw, a second-year player for the Cubs. Yeah. Kind of a utility guy, has settled in a little more this year. 13 homers, 44 RBI last year as a rookie. Has played right field, DH, second base, third base this year, some first, some second. But he's hitting .246 with 4 home runs. That's a move that they made last year at the deadline. That's a move that they made the year before at the deadline, where they were trying to say, we're going to intelligently buy and sell at the same time. We're going to be so strategic that we're going to go down both lanes, and it winds up doing nothing for you, as we illustrated with their records to begin the second half.
Yeah, when you said that, I said, okay, who is he going to replace? He's not going to replace Durbin.
No, but that's kind of what I worry are the moves in this team's future. I would rather you go out and, frankly, overpay for Luis Arraez with San Francisco, because then at least I know you got a guy, a professional hitter, a guy who gets 200 hits a year at the top of the lineup.
He's one of the 3 guys in the major leagues now that hits over 300 every year.
Hitting 330 right now. Like, maybe get a little uncomfortable for him as opposed to cutting the bargain bin deal that you want to get this Shaw guy in who the models might suggest does XYZ for you, but when it comes down to actually winning baseball games is just the latest Anthony Siegler type to cycle through.
Well, and the other question you've got to ask yourself in terms of any of this kind of stuff, in terms of the Red Sox and making deals, is how much money do they want to spend? Do they want to, like Jeremy Pena?
Yeah.
They can use him for the rest of this season, but I don't know what his contract situation is. I know he's due another contract.
He's due one, yeah. He's in the final years of arbitration.
Are they really going to spend a bunch of money, particularly knowing they have Arias waiting in the wings? Or Meyer, if he ever straightens himself out and gets on the field, are they going to spend money on a big contract? They've been able to have pretty good luck negotiating early contracts with some of the guys. They haven't panned out yet, but I think of Crochet, they got him. What, for under $200 million for the
Yep.
length of his contract, which is a pretty good deal.
Yeah, it is.
If he's able to stay healthy and go out and continue to do what he did with his first year in Boston. And I just don't know that the Red Sox are.
I don't think they want to get uncomfortable in that way.
No, I think they're largely content with their player development that they've done, to the point where they didn't draft any pitchers early this year.
No,
they just spent the last 3 or 4 years just building up the pitching, and it's worked. I mean, if you look at their pitching staff, I never heard of Jake Bennett until, a month ago.
he's
And
dealing for you all of a
I
sudden.
guess the only mistakes they made, or one in particular, was Kyle Hairston, but letting him go. Is it Hairston or Harrison?
Harrison, even
Yeah.
he's come back to earth after he got a little injury, stayed on the IL, and
Okay, well, that-
isn't Cy Young over there for Milwaukee anymore.
But that's a great equalizer with all these guys,
Yeah.
right? Injury. But they, to the point where they were drafting position players. It used to be, before the pitchers, all they did was draft shortstops.
Yeah, just the
And
best
I think they
athlete
could
on the
turn them
diamond.
into something else, and I don't know that worked all that well, to be honest with you. But, yeah. I was looking at candidates for trades, just generally speaking. I mean, and there are plenty of these guys, these Max Shaw guys,
Yeah.
that you just don't know until you get them. But, I mean, Skubal, Tarek Skubal.
But that's the thing; like they don't need a starting pitcher.
And they're not
That-
going to pay for him
that
because they're
doesn't
going to
do
have
a
to.
thing.
No, Arias, Luis Arias, Pena, Mason Miller, the Padres, but they don't need him, really.
Yeah, they could use a bullpen arm, but not at that price.
No.
They don't need one at that length.
No, and who knows what he's going to be like pitching in the 7th and 8th innings,
Yeah.
Because it's going to be Chapman as long as he's there. Byron Buxton, Joe Ryan from the
Byron Buxton is intriguing because you don't need an outfielder, but that's 25 home runs
Right.
from the right side of the plate.
that
Could be one. No, I'm just saying, like that's one that
that's
piques
one.
my fancy.
Just a bat. You can
Yeah.
figure out how to use him, DH outfield, and you juggle him with the other outfielders and first base and come up with something else. The only other guy that was mentioned was C.J. Abrams, who's a shortstop for
That'd be pricey.
yeah, and that's the thing. He's going to be due a contract, and I just don't think they're going to trade for a big contract unless it's an expiring one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
No, I just get ready for what's this guy's name? I say it 4 sentences in a row and it doesn't even stick. Max Shaw.
Max Shaw,
Max Shaw.
Mac Jones. Who the hell knows?
Matt Shaw. I don't think I've got his name correct once
It's
in this
Matt Shaw?
sentence. M-A-T-T Shaw.
Okay.
Just had to scour through the driver and pick it out of here.
Matthew.
Matthew Shaw. 246 with 4 home runs. Romy Gonzalez can do that for you.
Is he batting every day?
No, last year, 128 games, 126 games. This year, 50-ish.
He's like a platoon guy.
Yeah.
And he's batting nothing special.
Nope.
He's putting up Caleb Durbin numbers.
Either make an impact trade or don't do anything.
Yeah. I mean,
Don't try to get cute.
you've got the pitching staff. I mean, do they need a relief pitcher? Do they need one?
Yeah, they could use one.
I mean, that's the other place to look.
Yeah, you could use a 7th inning guy
Although-
because I don't trust Justin Slayton.
These guys, this Guerrero guy they've got, and they got another guy that throws like 102 miles an hour there.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Guerrero does. He's
Is he
the
the guy?
flamethrower.
Don't they have another guy that's like that? They just maybe not.
He would be the guy that
Okay.
he's still kind of like 3 out of every 5 times.
He's kind
are
of
good.
raw, but
Yeah.
he's got the raw materials.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've just heard about him over the last 2 or 3, maybe month, but 2 or 3 weeks, and they brought him in, and he's throwing 101 and stuff like that.
We say raw. I'm pretty sure he's like 35 years old.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure he is.
That's the state of baseball
And
that
he's-
everybody throws 102.
He's 35 in Caribbean numbers, so who the hell knows how old he actually
He's
is.
51 years old, but he can throw it 104 miles an hour.
He actually played in those All-Star games in the early 60s.
Speaking of which, we did find out Stan the Man and Willie Mays also were double up. They were taking it, as was Mickey Mantle.
Right.
So all 4 of those guys that are the top 4 as far as selections go, Hank Aaron with 25, Stan the Man, Willie Mays with 24, and Mickey Mantle with 20. So Mickey did it in 16 years. Hank did it in 22, and then Henry, Stan, and
Man.
I got too many names
and
around in my
Hank
head.
Aaron. Henry Aaron.
Willie Mays is the other
Willie
one.
Mays, okay.
But they were all playing 59 to 62. So they were all multi-time All-Stars every summer.
Kind of a golden age, huh?
It really was,
In
yeah.
terms of that kind of individual talent.
Show up at the park and watch just 25 future Hall of
Watch
Famers
Hall of
a couple of
Famers.
times.
Yeah, indeed.
The Drive brought to you by Casella. Good pay, good people, good life. Find your place at powerofhardwork.com. Also brought to you by Dairy Queen in Bangor. With the new DQ Breakfast Collection, you can enjoy a Cinnamon Toast Crunch dip cone, Fruity Pebble Shake, a Choco Frosted Donut Blizzard treat. Whether it's breakfast time or not, just stop by. 668 Broadway in Bangor. DQ. Happy tastes good. One more time out, and we are back to wrap the show. Buzzer Beaters up next on The Drive. It is time for Buzzer Beaters, but mark your calendars for Saturday, August 8th as Ricky Craven Speedway roars to life with the Tim's Plumbing 100 featuring the Darlings Pro Stock Series and $4,000 to the winner. It's one of the biggest nights of the season. Bring the family out and experience the excitement with the Tim's Plumbing 100 on Saturday, August 8th. Buzzer beater time here to wrap up the show on this Tuesday, bleeding into the Drive at 6. Ernie, got anything over there?
Well, just the latest from Chris Sims, who was obviously one of the elite quarterbacks of all time when he played in the NFL for a bunch of teams, not very long for any of them.
For a minute.
Including the Patriots.
Very obviously just one of the game's greatest talent evaluators based on what you're about to say.
Yeah, indeed. He came out with a list. He works for NBC, but most of it's
Pro Football
digital.
Talk. Yeah.
Right. He came out with a list of the all-time, quote, in their prime quarterbacks of all time. Peyton Manning rated 1. Tom Brady rated 9th.
Yeah, that is someone looking for clicks, looking for attention at this point in the summer. And as I said below it, to quote Mike Vrabel, that list is laughable and doesn't deserve any further response.
Yeah, real quickly. Manning 1, Mahomes, Rodgers, Elway, Favre, Allen, Jackson, Marino, and then Brady, just ahead of Roger Staubach, who was 10th.